Salve cantanti and welcome back to this new video. In this video we're going to be talking about another wonderful aria, Resti Servita. It's a very fun duet, but before we start, if you want to work on Le Nozze di Figaro in full detail, and you want to sing it with meaning and impeccable pronunciation, check out my links down below. I've created a volume, the Repertoire Series Volume 1, on Le Nozze di Figaro, and in it you will find a lot of very useful and interesting information in order to sing beautifully with full meaning. So if you're interested, check it out. Now, without further ado, let us begin. This duet occurs at the very beginning of the opera. We've just heard Basilio's aria, and now Marcellina is left in the room, yet Susanna approaches, and she takes this opportunity in order to mock her and to bicker, because it's like two chickens. They just keep on fighting. It's really silly, and this duet is very funny. So let us listen to the performance, a little bit of the performance, and then we will analyze it. Very good. Let us begin by reading, as we always do. But before we actually do that, some context. We find out, I think this is the very first, yes, it's the very first exchange between Susanna and Marcellina. And this sets the tone for the rest of their interactions until much later in the play in Act 3, where it is revealed that Marcellina is Figaro's mother. So their relationship changes completely. But in any case, so Marcellina, right before this, says, okay, yes, ma Susanna, let's use a nicer color. Ma Susanna s'avanza, io vo provarmi, fingiamo di non vederla, and then she begins mocking her. E quella buona perla la vorrebbe sposar, ma di Figaro al fine non può meglio sperarsi, argent fait tout. So she's just mocking her openly. And then, che cara sposa, and then, via resti servita, madama brillante, non sono si ardita. I've also heard servita. Both exist as versions. Non sono si ardita, madama piccante. So we begin right off the bat with adjectives. You can clearly see they're bickering. Madama brillante. This is what Marcellina tells Susanna, whereas Susanna describes Marcellina as Madama piccante. So, via resti servita, Madama brillante. So please leave first. The door, I'm opening the door for you. Brilliant lady. And then Susanna says, she either says, ardita means I wouldn't dare, essentially. Or non sono servita, which literally means I'm not, no one else serves me, which means that I'm much lower in the social hierarchy, so I would never dare. And then Madama piccante. Piccante literally means spicy. You might wonder, what does spicy mean when referring to a person? Well, I think Susanna here is referring to her tongue and how, aggressive Marcellina can sometimes be. And also, Susanna, earlier in the recitativo when she's hiding, che lingua, such tongue, literally, such awful, harsh words. So perhaps this is referring to that. Now, Madama piccante. No, prima le tocca. No, tocca a lei. No, please, it's your turn. Please, be the first to depart. And then Susanna says, no, it's your turn. And then also some staging indications. Fa una riverenza. Yes. So riverenza, reverence, literally. But here we mean a sign of respect. Maybe she bows down, or maybe, please, be the first to depart, my lady. Something like that. So prima le tocca, no, tocca a lei. Io so I dover miei. And then, essentially, they sing the same thing in parallel thirds here, which is funny because they're saying the same thing, but it's two characters who are essentially fighting at the same time in almost the same way. So, io so I dover miei. I know my sorry, not my rights, my responsibilities. I know what I must do. Non fo in civiltà. Now, fo looks a bit silly, but fo is either the Tuscan version, still nowadays, or the more literary version of faccio, but it's much shorter. Non fo in civiltà. I know what I must do. I shan't be uncivilized, which would mean in this case, I wouldn't go before you, given that it's your turn. Now, Marcellina obviously knows that she is higher in the hierarchy, Marcellina, yet she still tries to mock Susanna by telling her, oh yes, please, be the first to depart. Then, they both, once again, this is very fake. There's a lot of riverenza. La sposa novella. And then Susanna, la dama d'onore. So, the new bride, la sposa novella. Then, la dama d'onore, the honorable lady. Then, Madama Piccante says something which is piccante this time. Del conte la bella, the beautiful one of the count. What does that mean? The count's beloved. Because Marcellina knows, everyone in the palace knows about the count's deeds, let's put it that way. Then Susanna says, di Spagna l'amore. So Marcellina goes in with a spicy one, but Susanna retaliates by saying di Spagna l'amore. So we could infer, it's not exactly clear, but if you're the love of Spain, because remember this is in Spain, right? Well, it means that you have had intimate relations with many men, with the entirety of Spain. So here, Susanna is very openly insulting Marcellina. Then, Marcellina says, I meriti. So she says, such, what's the word? She has so many positive things about her. And then she says, Susanna says, l'abito, her beautiful way of dressing. Il posto, says Marcellina. And then Susanna says something which annoys Marcellina immensely. L'età. And then immediately, per Bacco precipito. Se ancor resto qua. So, by Bacchus, oh God, I shall faint if I stay here, for example. Not exactly faint, but I'm getting really worked up. I better leave. So, Susanna has found the magic key. She's found Marcellina's button. She's old, which she is. She is much older than everyone else here. She's an older character, definitely not as young as Susanna. So this l'età annoys her greatly. And then Susanna says, Sibilla decrepita, da rider mi fa. old witch, let's say. She's going to make me she's making me laugh so much. And then again, via resti servita madama brillante, Marcellina. And then Susanna, non sono servita madama piccante. La sposa novella. So the first time, remember, la sposa novella. La dama d'onore, d'onore, and we have pauses. Rests. But here it's getting spicier. So la sposa novella, and then immediately la dama d'onore del conte la bella di Spagna l'amore, i meriti, l'abito, il posto, l'età, per bacco precipito, se ancor resto qua, and immediately at the same time, l'età. Susanna has figured out that this annoys Marcellina immensely, so she's doing it, l'età. It's like a finger straight on your eye. L'età. She's calling her old, and no one likes being called old. And then, per bacco precipito, da rider mi fa, vecchia decrepita, sibilla decrepita. And then, Marcellina keeps repeating, oh my, I ought to leave immediately. And then, a very important indication here, Marcellina parte infuriata. Marcellina leaves furious. So Susanna has got to her. She has annoyed her. There's not much depth to this duet, but from neither a musical nor, let's say, a plot point of view. But it's nonetheless very important from a linguistic point of view, because you see all these little elements which you can use in order to mock. And this is a very beautiful little duet, musically as well, because you have this dialogue and all these little details. For example, what we just said the first time round, i meriti, l'abito, il posto, l'età, per bacco precipito. So here, for lack of a long rest compared to these rests here, immediately tells you that this annoys Marcellina. And then, as time goes on, we have the same thing. We have the original text, via resti servita madama brillante, but it's a different shape. We go up here instead of via resti servita madama brillante. Instead it's via resti servita madama brillante. And then la sposa novella, la dama d'onore del conte, la bella di Spagna l'amore, i meriti, l'abito, il posto, l'età. So, in order for this to make sense, you need to understand what's going on. You need to understand what's being said to you, so you actually get angry at Marcellina. But Susanna also gets annoyed earlier on as well, right? In the previous recitativo. So again, it's very important to understand what you're saying here. Also, in order to make these actually the insults bite, make sure that your consonants are nice and clear. Okay, so for example, let's see. For example, these two. Madama brillante. It's long, brillante. E poi, and I'm sorry, and then non sono sardita, madama piccante. No prima le tocca, it's not tocca. And then non fa in civiltà la sposa novella, la dama d'onore del conte, la bella. And then l'età. It shouldn't be l'età. you should distinguish, it's leta, leta. So it should be almost explosive because it's the Susanna's poison basically is explosive as well here. So this is it for our wonderful little duet here. I wanted to analyze this one because, well, it's very fun, and I think it's of course important because it's the beginning of the piece and we're introduced to all the characters pretty much. And just as a little bonus, look at what she says, what Susanna says right after Marcellina leaves. Va là, vecchia pedante, dottoressa arrogante. So, pedante, vecchia, arrogante. Perché hai letti 2 libri e seccata madama in gioventù, youth, which you no longer have, vecchia, pedante, old, pedant, arrogante, pedantic, sorry, arrogante. So there's a lot of insults going on here. Now, this is it for our little duet. If you're interested in working with the material itself, just like we're doing here, consider checking out my Nozze di Figaro volume down below on my website. It's part of the Repertoire Series, a series which focuses on working with the material directly and understanding what you sing in order to sing with meaning and impeccable pronunciation. If you want to work on your Operatic Italian more generally, not necessarily on the Nozze di Figaro, but you're looking for one-to-one guidance, once again, you can check my website. I'll be leaving the link down below. I offer one-to-one, 100% personalized Opera Italian lessons so that we focus on what you need, what your needs are, and see what you want to learn. So perhaps you're simply interested in working on some specific repertoire pieces. Perhaps you want to learn the language itself in order to be able to be even more expressive. We work with the material you already have and the knowledge you already have, and we build on it. So if you're interested, check my link down below. And as always, have a wonderful one, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.